to bring up our next speaker. She embodies resilience, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to making a difference. Born to immigrant parents and raised in the housing projects of Brooklyn, Yvette Lopez turned challenges into catalysts, refusing to let barriers define her and choosing instead to build bridges for others. With over 2 decades of professional experience spanning international engagement, program management, and operational excellence, Yvette has led with both strategy and heart. She served for 10 years as an advisor to the President of the Dominican Republic, ooh-wee girl, where she developed and implemented a national community college system that has since graduated over 30,000 students. Talk about impact. Her previous roles include Engagement Officer for the U.S. Department of Defense at U.S. Southern Command and Director of International Projects of Daytona State College, where she advanced cross-border initiatives and global partnerships. Today, Yvette leads as the Chief Empowerment Officer of Development Culture, LLC, a consulting firm which focuses on strategic planning, process optimization, and leadership development. She is also the president of Dev Culture, Inc., a nonprofit based in Grapevine, Texas, that empowers women, Latino immigrants, youth through coaching, education, and community-based programs. Come on, elevate men. Man, under her leadership, more than 300 individuals have reclaimed their confidence, careers, and calling. She holds degrees and certifications in criminology, law, Lean Six Sigma, and strategic planning. Whoa. Do you need a mentor? Do you need somebody to mentor? Just saying. She is a certified mediator and a member of the Florida Bar. And beyond all the titles, she remains deeply rooted in service, whether mentoring emerging leaders, teaching ESL at her local church, or building platforms that make others feel seen, valued, and capable of more. As her theme song fills the room, it introduces a woman who has not only broken barriers, but continues to lift others over them. Please welcome a strategist, advocate, and change maker.
Good afternoon. I don't know how I can follow that, Yolanda. I mean, what a great speaker. I actually started following DFW Women's Club about a year ago, and I've been to several events, and I commented to Misty and several others that I see familiar faces in this room, how spaces where you can be authentically you and find women supporting other women at the same time is really, really special. And so I have gravitated toward this group of women for a little while, trying to go to as many events as I can. It's an honor to be here with you today. Thank you, Misty, for your leadership and the board and all of what you continue to build, because it really is special. So, I love the theme, elevate, and I don't believe in coincidences, but the training program that I have for my Latino immigrants, my nonprofit, the program is called, guess what? Elevate, elevate, yes, absolutely. So that is pretty funny. And barriers, right? So I'm supposed to talk to you about barriers. Just don't tell anybody, but I'm a life coach as well. And so barriers and challenges are kind of my jam. So that kind of worked out, right? So I wanted to start off by asking you, how many of you faced a barrier to get here today? Okay, absolutely. So my day started at 3:30. I was in Florida celebrating my 51st birthday.
Woo!
I'm glad to be alive. But yeah, all sorts of barriers to get here today, but I made it. But for you, maybe it was traffic, maybe it was a flat tire, maybe it was a text that came that kind of shook your confidence, or maybe even an argument, right, that drained your energy even before you started your day. We often think about barriers as these big, massive life events, but sometimes, they're just invisible, inconvenient, personal, and yet they impact how we show up. So the thing is, in order to recognize a barrier, First, we have to know what it's keeping us from. Today, our destination for all of us was this conference, right? That's easy. But in life, each of us has a different destination. And because of that, our definition of success is going to be also different. So talking about barriers without knowing what they block would make no sense. So first, I want us to talk about your standard of success. Not your title, not your checklist. What is your standard of success in this season of your life? Maybe it's financial security to reclaim more of your time. Maybe it's raising healthy, independent, confident kids. Maybe it's recovering your health after a difficult season. And maybe it's finally investing in you, right? Finally getting that degree, rebuilding your skills, or simply rebuilding your spirit. Your standard of success is unique, just like you are. And it will change depending on the season and as you grow through the different stages of your life. So now let me share my standard, or my recent standard of success, so that you get the idea. One of my first barriers that I had to break through was understanding that my definition of success was my own, and it was very different than what society's definition of success looked like. Imagine this: an attorney, formerly an advisor to the president of a country, driver, security detail, the works, choosing to be, as her next step, a transportation security officer. Working early mornings, lifting heavy luggage, getting passengers yelling at you, or at me, navigating holiday crowds, overlooked by supervisors with way less experience than I had. And yes, inspecting suspicious baggage, vibrators included, no judgment, no shade if any of those passengers are here in the room. Friends called it foolish, family didn't understand. But to me, it made perfect sense. It gave me the flexibility to be fully present during the most important years of my daughter's life, because I chose to homeschool, and to support my husband in his career just like he had supported me. So presence, not prestige, was my standard of success. For 10 years, I stayed grounded in that choice. My goal, to raise a woman who was economically self-sufficient, who walked with discipline, integrity, and faith. I don't know if you can play that. It's a video. It's orange. So I couldn't bring all of you in here or in here, so I had to create a little video of images so you can kind of imagine what those 10 years looked like. It's orange. It's down, yeah. It's minimized. It looks like an orange square. Yeah. Okay. Can I control it? Yeah. Okay. So there we were. It was fun. Colors, right? That's easy. 1, 2, 3. Math, science experiments. Time went by. We joined the Girl Scouts. And then middle school. She did 7th and 8th in 1 grade. She got her period. and hormones. Wait. Okay. No, I can't control it. Can you pause it for a minute? Yeah. And I remember one day, pause it. Go back. I thought I was going to be able to control it. So I remember telling her while she was in middle school, I was like, who are you and what have you done with my daughter? It was kind of a ride. I tried 2 or 3 times to put her in school, and it was just, she was always absent. We were always traveling, and they were like, you can't do this. And I was like, well, tell me what I can do or not. But ultimately, she reached her senior year, our senior year. And she graduated. She was 3 in a class of 1,800. She participated that year in 2 leadership institutes, one with the House of Shine, one with Elevation Church in North Carolina. Here, it's a little blank, but that she got inducted into the Tuskegee Airmen program, aviation program. So there, that's the FAA guy. She was getting accepted her private pilot's license and her drone's license. And she was #1 in her class, sat next to Teresa Claiborne, but she was the first recipient to receive her scholarship. And if you don't know who Teresa Claiborne is, you should look her up. She's amazing. First African-American female pilot in the armed forces. After retiring with the U.S. Air Force, first commercial female African-American pilot, United Airlines. And last year, she finally retired after 35 years of service.
Wow.
And she has her cell phone. Okay? So were we successful? Right? Remember my standard of success? So she has the tools to survive and thrive. I often kid around, I'm like, I can die now. Like, you're gonna be all right, I don't have to worry about you. My husband, who started as a patrol officer, today is a captain in the Grapevine Police Department. And that means even more when you know that 18 years ago, he didn't speak any English at all. Now him, when I look at him, I'm like, no, I can't die yet. We still gotta work with you. And me, I still drive an older car. I don't own a home in Grapevine. But to me, those things were never a priority. They were. So these photos might look picture perfect, even moving, but the in-between, there were moments of exhaustion, sickness, doubt, isolation. People around us said we were harming her, that she would be socially awkward, slow, a weirdo. Now, those same people, they say, oh, they can't admit they were wrong. They simply change the narrative. Now they say, oh, that's just her, she's special. Oh, she's lucky. And as if the struggle and the sacrifices and the lonely choices were invisible. But we know better. Growth rarely looks impressive while it's happening. And what do you think happened after she went off to college last year and he received his last promotion? Anybody? What do you think that I had to do?
Find something to do.
I had to create a new standard of success. And I'm still kind of doing that. When we aren't clear about what success means to us, we go through life changing, shifting, distracted by other people's lives and their standard of success. And in the process, we feel inadequate. We define it so we don't chase someone else's version of happiness and then wonder why we were never satisfied or content. And in the process, we are just giving away our precious energy. Anyone ready to reclaim your energy? Yes? Good. Okay, I know you guys are getting hungry. So now it's your turn. What is your standard of success right now in this season? Write it down. You have a handout in front of you. You have something to write with. We're going to take 1 minute so you can think about that. How would achieving the standard allow you to live, not just survive? How would it fulfill you rather than just to impress others? So take a minute and write it down. I see faces looking up. Just few seconds more. And remember, you have this handout. I'm hoping that you will take it with you and continue to massage these concepts and keep working on it this week. Okay, so let's talk barriers. And I want you, as we talk about barriers, to think about it through the lens of that you just wrote down, your standard of success. Because barriers aren't just what we face on the outside. They don't just happen on Monday mornings when we go to work. They follow us into rooms, into our decisions, into how we see ourselves. Can anyone relate to this image?
Yeah.
I can. There's so much noise, so much busyness out there. The reality is that we only have limited time, limited energy, and limited resources, right? Sometimes without realizing it, we position ourselves in ways that actually increase our barriers to our own success. We're exhausted, we overcommit, we get pulled into chasing things that were never even a part of our definition of success to begin with. And when something gets in our way, then when things don't go as planned, what's the first thing that we do? We often blame that which is the easiest to identify. It's usually something other than ourselves. Usually it's something external. Usually it's something we can't control or fix, even though we often try. But the harder and more necessary work is confronting the barriers that live within. Because we've been trained to focus on lack. We've been trained to focus on what we didn't have, or what others had that we didn't. But just to be clear, external barriers are very real. They are powerful forces we must navigate on top of the internal battles that we already carry. We walk into environments where sameness is the unspoken standard, where groupthink quietly rules the room, whether it's in our families, our workplaces, or our communities. And over time, these barriers don't just block opportunities, they make us question our worth, our belonging, and even our identity. Sexism, racism, classism, colorism, ableism, tokenism, accent bias, appearance-based bias, and all the other isms. I've lived it, you probably have too. I've been the only woman, the only Latina, the youngest, the disabled one, the one with too much passion, the one who is just doing too much. Imagine working for the Department of Defense at a combatant command, surrounded primarily by military men. Speaking up in the room, right, gaining the courage to speak up in the room, only to have my words echoed by a man minutes later, and then and only then, it was brilliant. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We can't always control the biases or the barriers, but we can control how we choose to show up. And what do? Those barriers pile up. We adapt, we armor up, we smile more, we speak less, we blend in, we fight to survive. How many warriors do we have in this room? Join me, because I'm always fighting. But survival is not the same as living. And fight mode, even though it once protected us, can become exhausting, right? Worse, it can become our default. So now we fight even when it's no longer even necessary. So I suggest we shift the focus. Before we move forward, I want to pause and I want you to ask yourself, what tools do you already have? What value do you already bring to the spaces in which you move? A word of caution, disclaimer. I'm an attorney, so lots of disclaimers. I don't want to be misinterpreted. You are already worthy. You are already amazing, and you are already beautiful. This is not about proving anything. This is about identifying the strengths that were already planted inside of you. You already have them there. So the lessons life has taught you, the things that come naturally to you, the things that you enjoy doing, those things that make you light up, the gifts people notice, the ones that often go unnoticed, but you know what you're good at. Your talents and strengths are like buried treasure. You have to discover them. You have to dust them off. You have to sharpen them so that they can shine. No degree, no title, no certification can replace this. These treasures must be uncovered, nurtured, and honed. So if you're taking notes, we talked about defining your standard of success. We talked about focusing on what you can control. And then now we're talking about honing your strengths and talents. You already have abundance inside of you. So why waste your energy focusing on what you lack, what you don't have? Why dwell on what you didn't get when you could be building on top of what you already have? So I want you to go back to your handout and take a moment to write down 3 strengths you possess. Don't think about it too much. You know it. They tell you often what you're good at, what makes you feel. For me, it's dancing. When I dance, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, kind of these ones, I guess.
We'll spend a minute just writing down 3 strengths you possess. Remember, the lessons life has taught you, the things that come naturally to you, the things you enjoy doing, the ones that light you up, the gifts that people recognize in you. People are still writing. A few more seconds. Now this is funny because, we often in a job interview will get a question like this. Like name, 3 things that your supervisors, if they got together, would say that you are, right? What is it that you bring to the table? Give me 5 words. So you hear it in interviews, and sometimes if you're not prepared, you're like, I'm pretty cool. I mean, you don't really think deeply about that question. It's not something we normally do. So why is it so hard to identify, sharpen, and use our strengths? Anybody want to call out your strengths? Go ahead.
I thought we were answering why it seems so hard.
Oh, okay, you can do that too.
And I think it's because a lot of the time we might compare ourselves thinking that we may be great at something, but someone else might be better, so we don't consider it a strength. So I think that's what I experience sometimes. But I'll call out my strengths. I have wisdom and discernment, quick adaptability and learning abilities, and emotional and self-regulation.
Awesome. Very good, right? Anybody else want to share?
Being consistent,
Okay, very good.
it's not gonna work if you're not being consistent.
Exactly. And we know we need those people in the room, right? There's some people who are idea after idea after idea, and they don't complete anything, right? So we need all of the strengths that all of you have. Anybody else want to share?
Detail oriented, faithful, and
Okay, very good. And you, ma'am?
open-mindedness, compassion, and resilience.
Very good. Compassion. We need, when I'm mission focused and I just want to get it done, and people are like, "You beating me down. I need a break." Right? We need people to identify, that is needed in the moment. Right? So, why is it so hard? I think that it's because distractions are everywhere. And when we're distracted, when we start seeing ourselves through someone else's perspective, internal barriers arise. And often these internal barriers are more powerful than even the external ones. They're the ones that no one sees, the ones that whisper, "I'm not ready. I'm not enough. Who am I to even try?" So we shrink. We shrink into spaces that don't even know how to hold us. We see ourselves through borrowed eyes. We speak in borrowed language, limiting, apologetic, unsure. And we limit our exposure. We don't even apply. We don't walk in. We wait for someone to pick us. The way we speak about ourselves matters. I'm just a mom. I'm just a housewife. Oh, that's my ADD. I was just lucky. I'm just here to help. No, you are not just anything. You are an answered prayer, a culmination of sacrifice, a walking, breathing force. Yet we limit ourselves before the world even has a chance to. We spend so long looking at ourselves through borrowed eyes that we forget what we look like. And that's why we have to remind ourselves. For years, I saw myself through someone else's lens. The supervisor who said I was intense, the colleague who said I lacked polish, the family member who believed success came by assimilation. When we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already possess, that's where true transformation begins. Because understanding who you are isn't just a motivational quote, it's hard work. It's awareness. It's the unlearning of borrowed narratives. Every time we dim our light to fit a space, we don't just lose energy, we lose opportunity. So I ask you, how much energy have you spent trying to be good at something you were never even built for? How many promotions, credentials, validation have you chased just to feel seen? We spend our lives improving weaknesses, getting incrementally better in spaces that never valued us to begin with. So focus on what you do have. Focus on what makes you you. When you live in alignment with your values, your strengths, your purpose, your work speaks before you do. You enter rooms that you didn't even knock on. Opportunities find you because alignment leaves a trail stronger than your resume. And more importantly, you stop needing the applause. So living on purpose doesn't mean having a perfect plan. It means knowing your why, understanding it, and letting it guide your where. So I leave you with this. Your blueprint for rising. Define success for yourself, not for society, not for your family, for you. And allow that definition to evolve with every season. Unearth your own strengths, especially the ones that haven't been certified. titled, or praised yet. Choose rooms where your presence expands the space, like this one. Not rooms that make you shrink to fit. Watch your words. What you say about yourself becomes what you believe. Don't settle, not just for enough, not for almost right. You were built for greatness and purpose. Focus on what you can control and surrender the rest. Peace lives where control ends. And finally, because we'll always get there, it's inevitable, when you're overwhelmed, simplify. Strip it back. Return your focus to what matters most. So as a final reflection, on your handout, you'll see some statements. If you will just check one action you are committing to taking on this week. Just one choice, one step forward. Because every barrier you face is not just something to overcome, it's a teacher. It's here to polish the strength, deepen your perspective, reveal a hidden gift, or grow your capacity to connect with others. Barriers are not dead ends. They are stepping stones in your development. That's why I named my company Development Culture, because I truly believe that every barrier carries within it the potential to shape us, to sharpen us, and to deepen our impact. Growth isn't separate from the struggle, it's forged in it. So remember, you were not buried to be forgotten, you were planted to rise. So rise, not to prove your worth, but to live it on purpose. Thank you.